now. Mansoor. All right, so there's live. All right, happy Wednesday, the 19th, guys. Welcome to another Believe in Magic Place Q&A. I'm going to be your host, Alex Borton, and with us today is the awesome world record breaker, Stuart Burrell. Woo! Stuart!
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me. Yay!
Absolutely, Stuart. Thanks for joining us today. Just as we always start up, the one thing I always ask all Q&A guests, because I know our audience knows you today, but the viewers later may not. Who are you, and why are you sitting in the chair in front of me, more or less?
Hello, my name is Stuart Burrell. I'm from England, as you may be able to tell from the accent, and I'm here because, for better or worse, I am a 10-time world record holder. I have 5 world records for escapology, 5 for weightlifting, and I cannot do a card trick, but I'm pretty good at bending things. That's pretty much it.
Oh, absolutely, man. Love the pan bending. Actually, will you be doing pan bending, pan torture at some point?
We have a pan I will be trying to bend later. Yes. We also have a pre-bent one which I'll try and straighten, which I thought might be better.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. That would be
straighten it out.
A lot harder.
Flatten it out. So there we go.
Absolutely, man. What was that?
It's live. We'll see what happens.
See what happens. Absolutely. So again, I want to apologize to everybody for a little bit of late delay here. We had about 30 minutes of funsies, technical difficulties, all that good stuff. So I apologize. Just kind of getting into some of the first questions. Actually, we have a question coming in now. Danny Horner, another admin, will be joining us hopefully here shortly. He's running a little bit of late because of some family issues, but he does want to be here. But he started chiming questions in already from where he's at, and he wanted to know when you escaped from handcuffs for the very first time, how long did it take, and what kind of pick did you use?
First time with a conventional paperclip was about 20-25 seconds, and it was practicing, and I had no idea if it would work, and the first one popped open and it was like, hey, and then the next 15 seconds we're trying to get the other side to open, and it took a long time. Always important, learn with not wearing the cuff. Don't put the cuff on until you've got it figured out, 8 or 9 times on something else. If you feel you need to have it on something, get a cardboard tube, get a toilet long tube, and put a cuff on that, and then try and work around that. That way, if it doesn't work, you're not locked in something. You say from bitter experience.
Absolutely agreed. I mean, I couldn't agree more. As you know, and as some of the members know, because I posted a couple of videos, I do a little bit of escaping from just basic cuffs. I don't do the irons and all the stuff that you do, because I'm still learning. But I do a basic set of handcuffs, single lock handcuffs, and I had myself the other day, and I've been doing it for a while, and I can get out when set properly out of them really quick. But I had my wrists set like this by accident. I had both the pins set away from my wrists, and I had it behind my back. And it was like, I went to go set it like, hey, this is going to be hard. And then I was like, all right, 20 minutes later.
Yeah. This is where you suddenly remember where you left the spare key, and it's usually 2 inches away from the maximum extension you can get with your hands. It's just that little bit out of reach. Whoever's upstairs is a gag writer. I'm convinced of it. It's just out of reach. It's just, you can't get, or it's between you and your girlfriend who you don't want to sort of let know that you're stuck, or you're doing it around your parents' house and you've got to wait for your mum to come home and unpick you, and you haven't really told her about the hobby yet. With these are all things that, sort of. There are worse ways to explain your hobby to loved ones.
Well, and that's I think the difference between things like mentalism and magic and escape artistry. Because if somebody catches you doing magic, that's embarrassing. But like, if somebody catches you like all tied up in handcuffs, they're just gonna have a whole list of other questions.
Yeah. If anything, saying no, I do what Houdini does is an easier answer. It's not what they're expecting to hear, which is unfortunate. That we have to, be embarrassed by the hobby we have.
Well, no, and I agree with that. Well, and it's more like I don't want to have to explain myself. Like I carry my cups around all the time with me. I mean, one, because you never know when you're going to need them.
No.
But two, like I like to practice when I'm out and about, anything, whether it's coins, cards, whatever. So I'll have my handcuffs. And it is a little bit embarrassing being in handcuffs in public and having people look at you go, well, what are you doing in handcuffs in public?
Yeah. We have that. I've had that where I've gone to gigs, I've gone to shows, and people think I'm a police officer. Long before my hair, long before short hair, beard, I was very clean shaven, very short hair, and I walk the tone in, and I've got a variety of issue handcuffs from around the world. Everyone's treating me like, well, I'm a member of the armed forces, and that's great, but I don't have that persona. And going table to table, people are suddenly being very cagey because they think they're being interviewed. They think they're having a conversation with a cop, and they're trying to have a conversation with a magician, and they need them to engage. So they're more likely to talk to a hippie than they are to talk to, someone who looks like.
Clean cut.
That's the word.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely. Well, and it's really hard, especially I don't know how much you're across the pond, so to speak, but over here we have undercover cops that look like me.
Yeah. Us. No, and you have enough obstacles to climb over these days, even if you're doing mentalism. Even if you're doing sponge balls, you're having enough trouble getting people to play, to join in. So walking into view with a pair of cuffs and saying, hi, here's what there's an additional level of reaction that people have. But once you get over that, they are just as amenable and approachable as if you were doing, three-card Monty or, chronology or some other effect.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree. I feel like it's somewhat, and I say this a lot, it's kind of like everything else, it's all in framing. If you walk up and just kind of hold up a pair of handcuffs, and start gesturing with it and talking, people are going to be like, okay, well, who are you? But if I walk up to your table and go, so who wants to tie me up? Like, that's going to get an entirely different reaction.
Well, if you can pull that off with that line, good luck to you.
Okay. You don't just do handcuffs. Laura wants to know, do you escape from like rubber ties? I know you do zip ties. I'm not sure if that's exactly what she's referencing.
Yeah, I have done cable ties. I did them on Full Circle. I have some here, reaching around. Desperately not trying to knock anything, but we have these cable ties. Wolf Lock, who's a fantastic escape artist and performer, does an amazing routine with these. What I do isn't as amazing, it's brute force. His is fantastic, and he's very, very good at it. But these are the same sort of ties you can get from any hardware store, and it's just a case of get it into the hoop. Okay, then on. But it is a case of
Just bust right through them.
It's just physics. But again, that whole sort of wow, followed by the ow, but wow, is what you get from an audience member if you've gone to pick the card. It's the same outcome as making them go, or standing in front of Darth Vader and ripping a frying pan. It's the same sort of that you want when you make something appear.
Well, and I think in general, and maybe this just kind of represents entertainment in general. A lot of people are fascinated with the skills that they don't possess. Watching people do other things fantastically, regardless of what it is. People aren't stupid. They know magic. There's a trick to the magic. There's a trick to this. There's a trick to something. But, things like escape artistry. Like, I'm showing you exactly how difficult this is, and then I'll show you how easily I can do it. It's people are impressed by people who dedicate themselves to something and are really good at it.
Yeah, there's something very truthful about people being able to see the impossible, or what they think is impossible. Houdini's brother, Harding, Theo, was in Wales, and he was in Cardiff, and he did the straitjacket. But at the time, the convention was that the straitjacket was done behind a screen. And the audience turned around and said, well, how do we know you've not got someone back there to help you? So the next night he did it in full view, and it became a much greater escape because everyone saw how hard he was working. And that we begin to see the removal of the screen. Obviously, there are some effects that have different requirements, so you'll never get rid of the screen, you'll never get rid of the shield, or the conveniently placed beach ball, or whatever slight you want to duck behind to do that little extra thing you've got to do. But in the majority of cases now, you'll see a lot more escape artistry in full view than you ever will see behind a screen, behind a cover. And that's important because it's us making people feel they belong. It's us getting people engaged. It's us getting them to feel part of something.
I absolutely agree, and that's 100% what entertainment should be striving for. And I think a lot of people miss is that it's really not about your performance, more as it's about your connection with the audience, because they're there to connect with you whether they know it or not. They're there to be a part of that moment with everybody else, with you, and be engaged. And if you're not engaging them, then they're sitting there watching a commercial on television. It's that level of engagement.
You're gonna laugh a lot more at a stand-up gig at a comedy store or the theatre than you are at home watching the DVD of it. Only because of the social interaction. I went to see Jonathan, the guy who played Jonathan Creek. I don't know if you, Alan Davis, who's a comedian. He played in the BBC show, and his humour's fine. But midway through the second half, I nearly choke. I'm laughing myself silly, but it's not a gag that would normally have got me to laugh. But everyone else is creased up as well, and suddenly I'm going purple. And that's the group dynamic that you don't get with a TV special.
Right. No, absolutely. Actually, back to the a few questions, because we kind of tangented there for a second. Danny was wondering, what was your first public escape?
My first public escape was from something called the Moroccan Strap, also known as the Asylum Strap. It was in a small village hall called Hawkwell Village Hall, and it was at a table. It was close up. So I did my first ever escape in public under someone's nose at table. And that was because I completely blew the classic ring on a rope. I was trying to do magic. It didn't go according to plan. And so I made my apologies and actually said, no, I'm trying magic, but I'm actually an escape artist. And I brought the escape stuff out and did a 8-minute spot just doing the Moroccan Strap, couple of handcuffs from David DeBow, God rest his soul, and a couple of other props I had, and I salvaged what would have been a completely destroyed table. So if I'd got that ring on a rope trick right, I wouldn't be here.
Well, you know, and that's something I try to tell, especially my friends. A lot of people just don't get this. You learn so much more from failure than success. You know, so much more.
Yeah. Lots of failures in life. Lots of the Wright brothers failed more times than they flew.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody does. And that was, I was telling a buddy of mine. I'm like, look, you know, you're never going to get anywhere if you're afraid of failing. Like, so go out and start failing. Fail at everything. It'll get better. I mean, it has to, right?
Yeah. You can't fail. If you fail at failing, you're succeeding.
Right. So,
And
work on that.
exactly. And if you succeed at failing, then you've learned something.
Absolutely. Laura Isley. Hi, Laura. Laura Isley was wondering, when did you break your first record, and what did you do to break it?
Okay. The first record was the 3rd of November 2001, and it was fastest escape from a pair of handcuffs, and that was for charity. That was a sports centre in Southend called Aviation Flights, which was an aviation way, which was next to an airport, and we did it for charity. Basically, it came about by pure accident. Some of you know the story, but we wanted to raise money for something called Children in Need, which is a UK charity, and I ended up saying, how many handcuffs can I escape in an hour? And ended up finding out I could break the record, and off we went. So for a trial run to get the support staff ready, we did a fast escape and set the record for that as well. So we set 2 records in one night.
Woo! Busy, busy. I mean, if you can. I mean, if you have everybody there and you can, why not, right?
Exactly. The hardest thing is the paperwork. The hardest thing is organising everything. So if everyone's there, go for 2 records. Go for 4. Whatever, if it's in your skill set and you can layer it, go for them. Because you'll never get everyone in that room again. You'll never get the witnesses again. You'll have to get another set of equipment in that's all been checked and referenced. If you get the opportunity, go for it. And I've tried 15, 16 records in the last 12, 14 years. I've got about a 60% hit rate, but I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing I've done for the ones I failed on. And because I learned from them. 2 were weightlifting, and I nearly killed myself. And I learned from that. You know, lifting twice the weight on the bar than I did in training, without having breakfast, and on the hottest day of the year with no fluids, wasn't a smart thing to do. When you say it out loud, obvious. On the time, you've got, no, I'm going for it. And I got it. 40 minutes in, I'm stretchered out of there. You know, so you learn. You learn to control everything, including yourself.
Absolutely. Laura had not so much a question, but more of a comment. It says, by the way, just want to say you are so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, man. She's like, I want to see him blush. There you go. Alexandria the Great, another awesome escape artist.
Absolutely.
She was wondering, what is your favorite escape you've ever done?
Ooh. I've got 2. Am I allowed to, Alexander? Please let me have 2, Alexander.
No, you get 1. Take 2.
The favourite escape I did was it didn't give me a record, but it gave me a lot of satisfaction, and that was a tribute to a guy called David Duval, who was a UK escape artist who did a lot of the books that I learned from. He passed away. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but we exchanged Christmas cards. And he ended up on a roller coaster in my hometown, handcuffed, body belt, 2 sets of handcuffs, and he had done an escape on live TV when I was a kid, and I got strapped into this, strapped up, shoved, and riding the roller coaster. So for 50 seconds, I had to pick the handcuffs whilst going round and out of control on the ride. And it was the coolest thing because I had the president of the local magic club, I had one of the guys, and I had someone who would later go on to win that year's stage competition, all in a row with me, and they were all whiter than me going on, and I was as white as them getting off. But I got it out of the cuffs. There's a picture of it on my Facebook page, but it just worked. On paper, it should have worked, but everything was just perfect, and it was a nice way of, doffing my cap to a really great guy who, if it hadn't been for him, a lot of the escape artists in the UK wouldn't have got going. And there's a link to what we did in York, and I'd like to get back to that before we finish. But so, my favourite, just for the record, my favourite escape of Alexander's was on America's Got Talent. Just want to put that out there because she did the impossible. Okay, not only did she hold her breath longer than I can on dry land, so full respect, but also she got Mel B, a Spice Girl, to be quiet for 3 minutes. That is incredible. Well, I'm so dead.
Oh, by the way, she said for your 2 favorite escapes, she won't pan you if you give 2.
Oh God, I'm never going to live that down. That's it. I'm
on the pan puns.
No, I am now the pan killer. I am now
Pan torturer.
the pan torturer.
Pan torturer. That's right.
Pan, the pan man. Whatever you want to say, I'm it. No matter what I do from now on, I'm
You're
it.
now the pan torturer. Congratulations. I'll make you up a medal later. It'll be a pan. So that was one you've done. What about the other one?
The other one has to be best escape I've done. Was we actually did. It's very simple. It's a chair escape, but we gave the audience free rein. They could tie the rope onto any part of me or the chair to start off with. They legitimately had 100 feet of rope, and I didn't say a word to them other than just filling time, so there was no control. It literally was, go for it. And we did, it wasn't the one I did on the night, it was the one in rehearsal, because the only 2 guys who turned up from the Magic Club for rehearsal was a former squaddie and fireman. Okay, so I've got a guy who's ex-military and a fireman. Okay, one, and the other guy he's about an extra, he's about 20 pounds and 8 foot wide, and they went for it. They did not give me any help whatsoever, and no matter what happened, and I got out, and I will forever cherish the look on their faces of, we went for it, and you've just done that in a minute and a half. You X, Y, and Z. And then the wife, Sue, my beautiful wife, came out and said, "Oh, good. I've been tying him up all week." And it didn't quite. It was one of those awkward moments where I said, "You really meant to say that, dear?"
Actually, and that was something I was going to ask you about was chair, because we do, me and Danny we're doing just take a bit of rope and do wrists behind the back and see how fast we can just get out, and then we were ruthless to each other. But I mean, and it took a while sometimes, but it was totally doable. So it was something I was really curious about.
when you learn, and you only learn from experience, and it's the harshest thing to say to people who go, "Can I do this? Can I do this quickly?" You can cheat very easily, but sooner or later someone will see you cheating. It's only when you've learned how to do it properly or correctly that it works for you. And the only way you're going to do that is back to practice and practice and practice. That you can fake playing a guitar by playing air guitar and everything else. You can fake singing by lip syncing. You can trick escapology in a similar way. Sooner or later someone's going to put an acoustic in front of you and say play, and then you've got to play the guitar. If someone says sing properly, you've got to sing. You can't be Milli Vanilli. You've got to learn.
Right. No, I absolutely agree with that. Alexandria said, "Poor Darth Vader. He'll never have all that again."
You have. Thank you.
I thought that was pretty good.
No, it's all that came out purely random. It was for those who haven't seen it. It's on a variety of pages. It's on Believe in Magic. What happened was last weekend was a free-to-enter convention where you had a lot of science fiction fans. Amanda Tapping was there from Sanctuary and Farscape, and we had a lot of other people there from other. You had the guy who played Boba Fett. You had sports stars there. There were wrestlers there. D'Lo Brown, formerly from WWE, was there. A lot of other people. And what happened was that the convention before had mentioned, oh, you can roll a fry pan to a couple of guys, and meet them again and say, do you want to do that in front of Darth Vader as a strong man? And I respect David Powell. I love the man because he wasn't just Darth Vader to us. He was also the guy who did the public service announcement on how to cross the road safely. You have one hand you've got Darth Vader, and the next second you've got him telling you how to safely cross the road, which was kind of surreal. But so basically, we went over to the superstore across the road, which was Asda, which is owned by, I think it's Kmart own it, and bought 2 pans, walked up to him, and I was so scared, I was gibbering, even more than I am now, that I was absolutely petrified. And eventually explained it. There was a red pan and a white pan, and he chose the red one. He's kept the white one, which I haven't rolled, but he had me autograph it. And so Darth Vader has my autograph, which is even stranger than it sounds. And the pan round and signed it, and he paid me the greatest compliment, which was he'd never seen anyone do that before, which is to impress someone who's been a powerlifter, been a strong man, been an inspiration to thousands. It's kind of cool. So yeah, that's what triggered that. And
yeah, sorry about that. It was a little bit random, but that kind of goes back to the pan puns. That's where all of that came from.
Don't complain about things being random. You know me. we can start anywhere on the keyboard and end up anywhere else very quickly.
That's very true. Hey, Valentine was wondering, what is the most dangerous escape you've done?
Has to be the upside down chainmail strategy, without a doubt. That is absolutely insane because it weighs 25 pounds in weight. It's proper chainmail, like you see in like you see in Game of Thrones. It's got an inner lining that is just like a normal straitjacket, and I'm inverted. Now, being inverted is bad enough, but throw in 25 pounds of weight, throw in everything in your body being the wrong side up. We spoke it for the safety check, for the insurance. We worked out everything that could go wrong. 4 pages of health risks as you're doing it, ranging from a heart attack all the way to paralysis, a stroke, blood clots, physical trauma. Then you add in the fact that you're wearing gravity boots or weightlifting boots, which have a hook on them. So in the process of struggling, there's a risk you could detach. Now, I'm only 4 or 5 foot off the ground, but 4 or 5 feet doesn't sound a lot. You're going to hit, no matter what pad you put down, there's not enough space to put a crash mat. So all you're going to do is hit the surface. And in that space, you're not going to have a time to tuck your chin. And no matter what you're doing, you're going to land on this, and that's going to impact on your spine. So if it all goes wrong, I could get pretty badly hurt. And the first time I did it, it was the most scariest, frightening thing I've ever done. And there's a video of that on YouTube. It cut me down after 4.5 minutes. I got out, but I hadn't got the quick release sorted. So they had to wind me down. So I was upside down for about 7 minutes. And I was spinning when I got off. So, yeah, it's scary.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's a lot of time upside down. I did, and that's so. Wait a minute, hold on. So it's a straight jacket made of chainmail. And where'd you come up for the idea with that?
That was about 5 years. No, about 7 years ago. I originally had the idea, and I found somewhere that I could make one. So we got it made, and that is now in the possession of another escape artist, and that escape artist is Weasel Dandor. Fast forward to a couple of years ago, I know there are other guys who've got chainmail straight jackets. There's 2 in Canada, I believe, and 1 in the US. I think I'm the only guy in Europe who's using one, and I think I'm the only guy who's done it upside down. But also, Richard Sherry does his own metal straight jacket version, and that is absolutely brilliant. But mine's slightly different because it's 2 jackets in one. But hats off to everyone who uses it, because it's a beautiful showstopper. But I've got the UK design patent on it, so I was able to basically go to an armory down the road and say, can you create this? And they did. And I was going to challenge somebody else with it. I was waiting to next March, which is the UK EA convention. Hi guys, and having had 3 years where they've picked on me, so hey, here's something we made earlier. What's Stuart doing? Okay, I thought I'd try it on them, and then we had the opportunity to use it locally, so I did that instead, and it was just absolutely brilliant. But it is everything. It's legitimate chainmail they use for recreation, for jousting. It's a legitimate jacket in every conceivable way. There are no sleight of hand, no tricks of the light, and there are days I wish it wasn't. There are days I wish I'd thought this plan through a little better. But
like, I could make this so much easier on myself.
Why didn't someone just knit it? Why didn't I make it out of wool? Okay, but no, I had to be authentic, didn't I? But no, it's so that was the one for me, but the original concept, I was watching Two Towers. It was when the king of Rohan was being suited up for the final battle just before Gandalf arrives and saves the day. And I was looking at it and going, that could easily be a straitjacket if you just tweak it. And I was emailing Sean Ness, The Extreme, at the time, and it was just one of those conversations that happens either very late at night or very early in the morning, that with somebody else who's got a similar mindset, and you just think, maybe there's some mileage in this, and however many years later, here we are. But like I said, there are other versions out there, and they are all fantastic. So please, if you are thinking of doing escapology and you're thinking of, don't just feel free to pop it into any act you've got, but as long as you treat it with respect, in the same way as if I was doing mentalism, when I do chronology, out of sheer reverence to Mr. Cassidy, I do it as authentically as I can. I do not want to screw it up. In the same way as if I'm doing one of Leomontier's tricks that I can do, very rare, Stuart doing card trick, I do it as best as I can because I respect them for what they've done for the art. I don't want to diminish it, and that's all I ask is that if I'm in your yard, I will play with your foot. If you let me play with your football, it's your rules. Tell me where to go. I will do it. All I ask is that if you're in the yard of escapology, yes, you can do it for laughs, but it's not a laugh. It will bite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was and that was something we had actually spoken about earlier with newcomers and whatnot. As I've been treading very lightly as I move further into the field because and just like anything, magic, mentalism, you don't know that you're disrespecting people because you don't know the rules because you haven't been in it. So it takes the same knowledge to actually abide by the rules to know that you're actually breaking them.
The last thing I ever want to do, which is why I'm always scared of doing the Q&A, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to disrespect. It's the easiest thing, even in a local magic club where we're all within 5 miles of each other. It's very easy to offend someone, and I do not want what I do to offend them because is it magic, is it not? And equally, all that I ask is that if they do an escapology feature, I don't mind them doing it for comedy, and you can get some real blasts out of comedy. Yeah, someone has a fantastic routine where they're in the straitjacket, but they do it in such a way that they come out with glove puppets, which is great. They're struggling, and then up pops a glove puppet by the place to the neck. And that would be brilliant as part of a comedy routine. But if I do it, then that's sticking a red flag on everything I've done before and everything I'm doing after. And if I go back to that venue a year later and I try and do the straitjacket seriously, and it's the same people in the crowd, you have that next step. And it's just, you can do a fantastic comedy routine with a pair of handcuffs. You can do a fantastic routine with a padlock. We were talking about it earlier. You can have you just need to have. I don't know where you'd get them. I'm not into that sort of thing, but I'm quite sure handcuffs you can buy with some sort of fur on them. I'm sure that if you did a pickpocketing routine where you're up on stage and you're talking to whoever it is, and you pull one of those out of their pocket, that would get a laugh. And then you can then do a routine where, and if you could do it in such a way so they can't get out of them after you've handcuffed them to somebody else's wife, that would be hysterical. But when you lose the key, all those things would be brilliant. But then to go and do a serious handcuff escape straight afterwards is back to the very start of this, which is entertainment. And it's got to flow. It's got to flow from Act 1, Scene 1, Page 1 to the end. And if you can get that flow, even if it's only for 4 minutes, even if it's only for a 4-minute set at a table, then it's brilliant.
Absolutely, man. Now, now you have a bunch of your own escapes. I know you gimmick your own locks and things like that. You've been selling them. I'm not sure if you do anymore. But I thought you had said something about stepping back from that a little bit. But Alexandra was wondering where do you get your inspiration for new escapes and such?
It's just everywhere. You just find it It's cool. I got inspired by watching Lord of the Rings. I got into pretending things by ironically reading. There's a In addition to Alexander, there's an escape artist by the name of Sindini, who is a remarkable performer. And she wrote an article. I was reading an article in a weightlifting magazine, but her article was not connected with escapology, it was connected with strongmen. And I got inspired because there's a famous strongman buried near where I grew up. His name was Alexander Zass, and the guy was incredible. He actually was an escape artist, but he did it during the Great War, and he escaped from 3 cells. He bent the bars to escape, he broke the locks, he broke the manacles, he broke everything with brute force. If he'd done it on stage, we could classify him as a different form of escape artist, but he never did. He always was doing the power moves. But that got me thinking. But again, you watch The Avengers, you watch Iron Man, you watch MacGyver, the show that gives and keeps on giving. So many different ways to get out of a jail cell. Rather than pick the lock, use Freon from the fridge taken from the commandant's office. Rather than take a Kalashnikov and use the spring that resets the breech, and use that to pick the lock. The list is endless of bizarre things that Richard Dean Anderson has escaped from in his career, but you get inspired just by people, and I can see you're chuckling because we've all looked at it and gone, really? Paddy and Sam have a lot to answer for, but you do get those moments where you think, can I do that for real? I was reading one of the guys I was in college with just creased up when I said this, but in a comic book, Nightwing, Robin, Dick Grayson, had been captured by Bane and was chained up. And he escaped using a drink straw from a McDonald's. And I'm thinking, it looked beautiful, but I thought, can I do that for real? Can I take a drink straw from a McDonald's milkshake, shove it into a lock, and pick the lock with it? It's your homework for tonight. Have a play. See if you can. Good luck.
I'll be playing with that later.
But it's those moments. One of the projects I used to make, I just was walking home and it just popped into my head that would be a cool thing to do. And you're not trying that, are you, Alex? You're not trying that right now. Do not try it right now.
I wouldn't do that.
This connection is, I don't need you in handcuffs with a drink straw. Okay? Sorry, I've got the giggles, I'm sorry.
It's alright. Alright. So as much as I'd like to sit and actually sit and try to get through those locks with a drink straw, actually we're about halfway through, and I know in our last interview we talked about a few giveaways that we kind of nixed and whatnot. Did you want to do that?
Yeah, we can do that very quickly. I used to make a couple of padlocks. Hang on, let me get a pic. And I do an effect. It's called. I've got it on my website. It's called War Games, and all it is that these are the normal little locks that you have, and you close them. But rather than opening them with the key, you can open them with a pick, or in the case of the effect I do, the top of a soda can. He says, trying desperately to open it and not look like a wally on TV. There you go. So you can do that. But you can also take the top of a soda can and break the ring pull and use that to open the mechanism. And I have a number of these. I'm willing to give them away to someone who can answer a question. And the question is, what was the date that I set my first record?
All right.
No rewinding if you're watching this live, okay?
All right. How many of those did you want to give away? Just the one set?
We'll give away one set. So I've got one set ready to go.
All right. If you'd like to answer that question, you have to email me.
Yeah, if they could.
What's that?
If they could.
Yeah, no, you're going to have to email me directly, and that's arborton@gmail.com. It looks like this. One second. I don't know if that can be read properly. arborton@gmail.com.
Lower. Yay! Got it.
This way, that way. So go ahead and email me the date of Stuart's first record, correct?
Correct. We have one more.
Okay.
One more. We have one of these, which is a... Hello.
It's a pan! You pan torturer!
And we have one. If anyone else wants one, email me and we'll talk shipping. Please do not send me the pan. Well, if you want to, I mean, we can give it a go, but it's going to cost you more. But we have one of those. I'm willing to devalue it even more and autograph it. But if you like that, I think we'll just get it so that if you want to email Alex at the address he's just showing you, and if Alex will randomly pick someone, and if you're successful, congratulations.
Absolutely. I will be doing the picking for that particular one. You can just message me Pan or Rolled Pan or Pan Torturer. I like Pan Torturer. If you mail me Pan Torturer, you get extra bonus kudo points. And then on a week from today, which looks like on the 26th, unless I'm wrong, which I'm probably crazy, but Wednesday the 26th is when I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner for the Pan. I'll go ahead and announce the winner for the locks at the end of the broadcast.
Can I just say, Pan Torturer is not the worst stage name I have been given.
The worst stage? Well, is the worst stage name you can be given like CG?
Yeah, Studini.
Studini?
That was the worst one. No.
Studini the Pan Torturer. Yes.
No. Oh God. There are. It's up there with. It's up there with. I don't know if people are familiar, but when Stone Cold Steve Austin was he was going from being the ringmaster, which was who he was originally when he joined what was WWF, and they were trying to change his name because it wasn't working. So they said we wanted something cold and ominous. So he put forward Stone Cold, and the creative team came up with Baron McFreezy. Now, if you think about Steve Austin, the wrestler, Baron McFreezy doesn't really work. But that's what you're up against. If you get the name wrong, if I walk out to here's Studini, it's not quite gonna cut it.
I don't know. If you come out and tell them they're Studini the Pan Torturer, I think you'd wrangle in some good crowd.
Mini-series. That's a mini-series.
That's a whole mini-series, man. All right. We should probably get... What was that?
Sometimes the most strange-sounding names work the best. There's an UK escape artist. I want to get this in just to really be honest. The most amazing effect I ever saw was on Halloween, and that was with Weasel Dandor, the UK escape artist Weasel Dandor, because he did something I'm still struggling to figure out how he did. I really can't say this enough. There was this prison cell. You can't use modern prison cells in the UK because it's actually against the law. You can't actually get the police to put you in a prison cell unless you're guilty of a crime, because this dates back many generations. So everyone's saying you only escaped from a museum. That's because you can't escape from a modern prison. So you can't be invited in by the warden. It's a criminal offence. So good luck trying to convince the police to commit a criminal act so that you get some free publicity. Uh, but we were at York Castle Museum, and the walls were 3 to 4 foot thick of solid stone. It is a castle. And we were locked in a cell that Houdini himself apparently declined to escape from. I think only 3 people have escaped from the cell before. Only one used the method attributed to Houdini, and that was a man called David Duval. And we put a lot of stuff to make sure that the escape was authentic. There are a lot of checks and balances. It would be the easiest thing to go do something new, to cheat. We had to pull on that door because it had dropped on its hinges, and that guy got out, and I'm still raving about it. There's a write-up coming out in the Times murder, but believe me, it was stunning to be there. It was an absolute honour to be associated with it, even fleetingly, because I was just there to keep an eye. But there are a lot of very talented escape artists. We had Rob Roy Collins, we had Anthony Britton Hyant, we had a lot of great professionals there who were all keeping an eye. We had Riley, who worked with Duval at the time. It was an amazing night. Of all nights, the night, an anniversary of Houdini's passing. It was absolutely amazing, and I just can't praise his skill enough. All right, that's our phone. Don't worry about it. Honey, can you get that?
That happens. It's all right.
That's okay. It can't be for me. I know 3 people and they're all watching this.
But it sounded like you would. It was perfect timing because it sounded like it started ringing just as you were finishing off.
Yeah, that someone's telling me to shut up and answer another question.
We did have a few more questions before we get towards the end and want to wrap up. Laura was wondering, do you plan on being involved in escape artistry for life?
I would very much like to be. I know Anthony is doing something incredibly complicated and daring next year, and I wish him every success. And I'd like to carry on being associated with it. We didn't have a chance this year because we had a couple of other things that clashed, but I'm happy to be involved, and it's always for a good cause. And it's a credit to Anthony and also to the other guys involved. Rosalind Walker, Weasel, a couple of years ago. It's just a very good organisation and a very good cause. And they raise money for a good cause.
That's great.
Will I keep doing Escapology for life until my legs give out? Yes.
Until your legs give out, absolutely. So Escape for Life is
it's a UK group that is that raises money for charity. They
see, I was confused by that question.
They perform escapes every an event every year. Anthony Britton has done a fantastic job of getting a lot of people to perform. He's not quite in Bob Geldof's league yet in terms of the number of people and the number of disparate egos he's been able to corral into one room, but it's close. And the same goes for also what UKEA is doing as well. There's a lot of things that are going ahead. So Escapology is in very rude health in the UK at the minute, and there's a lot of groups that are taking the art form seriously. And that's got to be applauded.
Absolutely. Actually, Alexandria brings up a point I think you'll probably expand on for a little while. She says some here on the other boards have on the other boards, have suggested that You simply can't do an escape show. Escapes can't stand on their own. What are your thoughts?
That's
Fuller?
oh, good question. Thanks, Alexander. Keeping it PG. Uh, it will work, and I know it will work because I've put a lot of effort in. There are other performers out there. The easiest thing in the world is to look at what's already out there and going, well, if it doesn't fit that, then it can't work. Eric Idle, the Python, said it best that Python Python came about because they just ignored all the advice they were being given by well-intentioned people on what comedy should look like. And that was only because the people who were giving them the advice were 5, 6, 10 years out of date. Technology will work as a show as long as it's entertaining, as long as you can get that narrative to work. And if you, there's no reason why you can't do 4 types of escapology in one show. Everyone is scratching their head going, what types of escapology are there? You start off and you get out of something. But if you boil it down to that level, magic is just going on and doing something. You open your hand at the right point, and 18 sponge balls are there as opposed to the one everyone saw you put there. You go on and doing mind reading. For whatever reason, you go through a process and you've come to the answer you need. You've come to the answer you want. Escapology is you go on, you then do the setup on stage, so you're reliant on the public helping you. It's a lot more interactive, but equally, the output is you're out of what they've put you through, or you've got out of what you put yourself in. And it's that process that leads you to it. If you're doing it, if you do it, in bursts of 4, that's 4 15, 20-minute sections. Now, you may think, well, who's going to go there for 15, 20 minutes? Quite a lot of people will start shifting in their seat after 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You've got, we have resets, we have curtain calls, we have times when the curtain shuts and someone comes front of the screen because you're moving the set around anyway. If you tailor it, if you make it the narrative flow, it will work. And it's just finding a way of linking everything together. If anyone's going to have an escape show in the next 3 years in the US, I think I wish Alexandra luck because my money's on her. Because genuinely, I think she'll put it together. I think she'll succeed, and I genuinely, bear in mind, you don't have to have the escape where you're in peril every time. You could have the escape as a race. I've got one in development, which is various methods, and I'm probably going to get shot for saying this, so sorry to all the guys who've helped me with this, but I'm going to blab anyway. It's a race. I get the audience to put a straitjacket on something else, and then put an identical jacket, no tricks, they've picked either one, and they put the jacket on me. Mm-hmm. We then get that committee to pick somebody else from the audience and come up and try and take the jacket off whatever device we put it on. Whilst I'm races, will the member of the public be able to undo that jacket faster than I'm going to get out of mine? And that's 5, 10 minutes, and immediately it's changed it all round because it's a challenge. Suddenly the audience is trying to get a straitjacket off of something, be it a martial arts dummy, be it a clockwork automaton, be it whatever, or they're pulling levers or devices to drive that thing. And there's me struggling around trying to get out of an identical jacket. Now, I could lose. I could win. Who knows? I could get muscle cramp. There's a list of things that could happen. But from an audience point of view, who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for the public or are you rooting for the guy? This is it. And you're doing something you've never seen before. You've seen grown adults struggle with something in a straitjacket. You don't see that. We always see the escape artist in it. We don't see a member, and I'm not saying shove a member of the public in, because that's an insurance nightmare. I've just come on a course today for risk assessments. Literally, how am I going to be sued as an employer? You know, half the problem, half the fear we have is the spectre getting hurt. And if we can get past that, if we can just get people to get back to the okay, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, it'll work. It'll be brilliant.
Right. I've been watching kind of the feed as you've been talking, and Alexandra has just kind of been chiming in here and there. Things like timing and pace, taking them on a journey, bingo. And that's thinking outside the box. Brilliant, Stuart.
Oh, thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you. I haven't got enough money to pay the Jim Henson workshop to build the clockwork automaton so that they put it on the jacket and they pull a rope and it opens. So it may just be a martial arts dummy when I do it, but mainly because they're slightly cheaper and, you know, 150 pounds of dead weight lying on the stage, you know, might make it harder for them to take it off. But
right.
but you know, either way, you know, you've got a pace, you've got a way of explaining it, and if you put in the story about Houdini's brother in Wales, if you bring in, you know, this is a modern posy straitjacket, and this is the thing, because straitjackets have evolved. Straitjackets have evolved. They are nothing like they were in Houdini's day. You know, they are much harder. But total respect to Alexandra. No offense to any other American-based escape artists I know, or Canadian. You know, it's purely, you know, if someone's going to do it, I think it's going to be Alexandra. That's my bet.
I agree with that. I really liked her escapes that I have seen.
Feel free to prove me wrong, and I will come back on and I will sing their praises equally. I mean, we've got Steve Santini in the US right now. He's doing his own show. He's had a variety of shows, and he may very easily start going down that route. And I wish Steve every success. I have total respect for the Dark Master. It's just, I think in the next 18 months, from the way things are, it's going to be Alexander. Prove me right. Prove me right.
Right. No, I'm really excited to see what other kind of events she has. I know there was a few other events she had posted about. I didn't see videos for those particular events, but I do remember all the stuff on America's Got Talent and whatnot at the very least, and that stuff was all just so impressive. I can't hold my breath that anywhere close to that long.
It was still absolutely brilliant, and maybe someday in the future. I mean, if any US escape artist is in Europe or finds themselves in the UK, don't be a stranger. Get in touch before. There will be someone from the UKA, Escape for Life, or just a gingerhead lunatic who desperately needs a shave, who will make the time and say hi. So don't be a stranger.
That's great, man. You know, and see, that's Danny just got here, but he's since we're gonna be wrapping up soon, he said he's fine. He's not gonna hop on.
He can hop on. I can talk. You know.
Okay. Stay for a second, Danny.
What was it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk about Alex behind. Well, how's he doing as a host? Please feel free to email. Believe in magic.
I have no idea where he was. He was supposedly he messaged me saying he was here, but he's not coming, so I have no idea. But that was he's my ginger here in the U.S. So that was my thing. Hey, so we're getting close to the end of the time. Is there you watch? We've got to watch you go get out of the strap. Did you have anything else you wanted to do? Last time you bet a neat little piece. I don't know what else you got under your belt there.
I've been trying. This may fail. I bet people. I mean, this may go wrong, guys. Do not get Do not get your hopes up. Okay, this has had a 40% success rate, but it is a swing-through pair of handcuffs. It's the star-wheeled without the safety catch, and hook it in and see if we can. Yeah. Yeah, and in case there are ways of doing it, but that was purely force. This isn't, that is not folding out. That is in. Again, it's one of those power things, and you've got to respect the sideshow guys. You've got to respect the history of it, because if you can put something as daft as pulling handcuffs open, or putting padlocks open, or bending a frying pan. I have had more tweets, bending a frying pan in front of Lord Vader than I've had, 10 world records, nothing. Bend a frying pan, yay! But if you want, should we try and straighten it?
Try and straighten it, yeah, heck yeah.
Okay. It's a normal rolled pan. Okay, just like you'd find in any lunatic's workshop. And it's hard to
pan.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Normally you need a hammer for that.
No. Just more brute force. But again, there's so many things you could do. There's a great documentary I found the other day called Bending Steel. I haven't actually seen it, but I've read about it. And it's all about guys doing the strongman tricks. But they're based in New York. And you also have the work of Dennis Rogers. Fantastic strong man, but there's a great device to help you learn how to rip cards in half. Get a whole pack of cards, and you can rip it in half. Now you may think, well, what would the use of that be? But imagine the effect if you got someone to pick a card, sign it, you put it back in the top of the pack, you then take the whole pack out, don't do anything with the card, rip the whole thing in half. So it's 50. You've cut the cards in the most brutal way possible. Just like a fun. But do that with cards. Throw the cards in the air. Tell them to see if they can find their signature, and you then pull the card out. Here's your card. It's a strong man. It's a magic effect, but it is still the same output. That's the best I'm going to do. Sorry, guys.
It's flattish.
Critic.
It's abstract, but that works.
I'm doing it.
You're reverse torturing a frying pan. No, I get how hard that is.
It is difficult. It's difficult, but no, I think that's done me. That's done me. I'm sorry. We have a fail.
No, that's pretty close.
Okay, here we go. Bending it again. Now bear in mind, last time I did it, I was standing up.
Yes, you did. That makes it a lot easier, from what I understand.
Sensation. That's actually tighter than we had it to start with.
Next trick, you need to snap the frying pan in half.
Yes, I've done that. I did it last month. I actually did snap it in half. On the table, award-winning close-up magician has a picture of it. There's a couple of pictures on my Facebook page. But it took about 20 minutes of brute force, but we split it right down the middle. One of the guys tried to fry an egg on his half. That's all I'm saying. It is just mad.
That's awesome, man. That is great. Let's see, and that was I love the frying pan stuff, because that was another thing that, like, I love physics, because really a lot of the answers to Iron Man type activities are physics. Like that's the entire answer. It's physics. And
Pay
leverage.
attention in school, kids. Seriously, don't pick on the engineering nerds. You have no idea what they can do.
Absolutely agree. Well, we are coming pretty close to the end of our broadcast. Let's see here. The Geneva Convention just called, and they want to talk to Stuart Burrell. You've been panhandling again. That was Alexandria. So,
Yeah.
that being said, I think we'll end the Q&A on that note. We do have a winner, and actually our very own Laura has won your locks. So yay, Laura, you get the locks. Woo-hoo! What's that?
I will get them to her.
All right. We'll stay on the line after this. We'll go ahead and discuss that. As for the pan and the devaluation of signing said pan, that will be given away next week, and I will keep everybody updated. I wanted to go through and thank Laura Isley for putting all this together. If it wasn't for her, a lot of this really wouldn't happen. I'd like to go ahead and thank, of course, you, Stuart. Thank you so much, Stuart, for coming out, hanging out with us, doing this, and just being an awesome, funny, humble guy. Because it's always enjoyable.
Very quickly, good luck for next month. Good luck.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Yeah, luck is probably something that I'll probably need for a while, but
Congrats.
absolutely, man. That being said, I think we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you, everybody, again, and y'all have a good night. We will see you on our next interview on the 22nd. Actually, no, the next events coming up are Saturday the 22nd. We have Art Vanderlei and Craig Browning doing a urban shamanism lecture. That's going to be really fun, a couple hours of great stuff. Next Monday, on the 24th, I will be interviewing Ben Cardell. On the Wednesday, the 26th, Pablo Amira will be, I believe Pablo Amira will be interviewing Mauricio. And on the 28th, I will be hosting Andy Gladwin from Vanishing Magic. So lots of stuff coming up in the next week or so. One last time, thank you, Stuart, and stay in line. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Later, guys.
Take care.